Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Relationship with myself, Stefania Pulio from the Gentleman Square. And for all of you that out there that don't know, we are on live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. here, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Of course, it's always around relationships, and it's the post-pandemic. Yes, how we are coping after the aftermath and the experiences we've had in relationships. Now, of course, we've all experienced the lockdown and how it has had effects on whether it's our own personal relationships, whether it's relationships with our families, with our work relationship, and of course, our intimate relationships. So I have a very special guest today she is an amazing woman, a super mum, a partner. She is a businesswoman who runs her own business, as well as being her own extended family, where she's a daughter, she's a sister, she's a lot of things. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the lovely Marzal. Hello, Marzal.
That was a nice introduction. Made me feel important.
You are. So thank you so much for your time. First of all, I know you're a busy lady. You run your own business, and you've got a full house with children and all sorts of commitments. So I really appreciate you.
Partner, business, friends. I know it's everyone's very busy at the moment. So
yeah. So we
pleasure to have it. Thank you. Pleasure. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. So the post-pandemic, I know we've all been through quite a lot during the period of, I guess, lockdown and the stresses and the pressure that it's all put us through. And I know that we've shared a few conversations in the past, and you were kind enough to come on and share some of your experiences, because, the interesting part is when we share, we're actually, allowing others to share their story as well, because we don't feel like we're alone in this. And that's
I think that's a really good point that you've made. I think it is nice to share if people want to, because everyone has had such a unique experience, and it's nice to, well, if people are comfortable sharing their stories, it does take that element of feeling maybe alone in your own bubble or world of, well, chaos, I guess you could say, because it has been quite chaotic. Well, for me personally, and a lot of people that I know. So sometimes in a state of chaos, you can feel quite alone.
So tell me, Marzal, let's sort of like break this down a little bit, if you care to share. What have been the challenges for you? Like, what have you found to be?
Well, I think there was a multitude of challenges, really. The lockdowns, because we got picked up and put down so often, like, I'm in Melbourne, so there were 6 lockdowns. Look, I'm a parent as well, running a business. I have a partner, and we're all, and not knowing from sometimes one day to the next what we were, allowed to do, kind of threw me around a little bit. My kids, the family, we were all trying to stay connected virtually, but I feel that we were all so disconnected.
In what way? How did you feel like?
Well, I think a lot of people I found that, especially in the later lockdowns, I think it was more so lockdown 6.0. I have a very, very close family, and everyone kind of just, even on the family WhatsApp, everyone just sort of went their own way for a little bit. Everyone was were in their own 4 walls, really, and just that staying connected virtually sort of it kind of dissipated on number 6 lockdown. And that's what I really noticed big time, even with, friends as well. Yeah, people just sort of went into their own little worlds. We were getting so used to it.
Yeah. So do you feel that as a result too, people have kind of stuck to that, I guess, that pattern where they have been
It's funny you should say that, because I think now I think only just now, because the restrictions are really starting to ease slightly, but there have been times where, like, I haven't seen certain friends. We've all got friends that are very close that we speak to, every second day or maybe, or whatever, or family members that we might speak to every day. And we've also got friends that we don't speak to like all the time. It might be, once a month or whatever, or, so I found that that we're starting to reconnect more so with family, which has been really good. But there's been a sense of guilt. Oh, sorry, my cat. There's been a sense of guilt there, thinking, oh, maybe I haven't been a really good friend because I haven't seen certain people in such a long time. And then you forget, oh, well, hang on, it has been COVID. So it's not that you're not being a good friend by not contacting people. A lot of people were sick earlier in the year too with the Omicron. And I think that had a lot to do with it as well. But even going back over the last 2 years, if I've caught up with someone and I haven't seen them in a while, I've apologized, because you forget that it's been a pandemic. So it was kind of an organic thing that kind of just happened, but that was my experience.
So would you say too, as a result, some friendships have actually broken away? Because
I think yes. Maybe I don't feel like I've had friendships that have broken away. My friendships are quite strong, and I have, I've had I think some friendships have been actually reignited, from childhood as well, but some people I know of some people that have had friendships sort of distant from the pandemic. Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And how would you say that you were, as a family, you said there was separation, but was there times when you actually got together, and was that forced or encouraged, or was it
No.
automatic?
That was more so in the beginning, and everyone made a really big effort. But because it was over 2 years, in the end, it was strained.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was strained,
sure.
definitely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
would you say the strain, like being in each other's pockets? Like we have this saying here in Australia, like
Oh,
we're in
you know what? We all just, because it was such a monotonous time for everyone, and it was a bit of Groundhog Day, there wasn't really anything to talk about.
Oh, wow. Like you'd run out of
I know
things to
that
say
sounds
to each other.
crazy, but it's true. It's like, we're in lockdown. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, I'm having a drink. Okay, what time is it? 10 a.m. So there were little funny comments like that. But it was the same stuff.
Yeah.
What's the latest on Netflix? What is it? Oh, yeah, so yeah, people weren't going out and doing things to have really good conversations, and the conversations it was all about COVID. And I think the vaccine caused a lot of issues with people, and there were arguments. I know there has been severed friendships. There was 2 guys in Mordialloc murdered because of the
No.
because of arguments due to the vaccine. There were a lot of conversations that were avoided, get-togethers that people weren't invited to because of they were worried if they weren't vaccinated, and they didn't want to. It's a touchy subject. So yeah, it was a crazy time.
Yeah,
Time.
really crazy
There
time.
was a family argument at one of my Christmas gatherings.
Really?
Yes, because of the vaccine.
Wow.
Yes. So in the end, it was just
some people not actually going to parties or going to their events,
some
or weren't
people
invited.
weren't invited to certain gatherings.
Mm.
And, you know, it really threw a spanner in the works for a lot of people. Friendships groups, I know, have been disjointed because people aren't vaccinated as well. And certain other parties didn't like that. So, yeah, I witnessed a lot of change in relationship dynamics. I had, for me, for my story, I'm happy to share. You know, I had personal issues with, you know, the same thing, you know, so it's just really, it's a very unique time that we've just gone through, you know, and even as, you know, with my partner, you know, we were a COVID couple. So
Right.
we kind of reconnected and at the beginning of COVID, and we've had to really readjust because we were in each other's lives. Just we kind of developed a codependency, and I think that's happened because, well, obviously because we were partners, we could see each other at each other's homes, but we couldn't see anyone else. So you develop this codependency that's it's behavioral too. You're automatically calling each other or texting each other, or we just catch up with each other socially. That was our only social outlet. And so over the last 2 years now, just coming out of that has been interesting. Is the best
Right.
word.
So has it put a stress on your relationship? Is that what you're saying? Like, has
Well,
it?
I think it's we've had to really adapt. Because of when you have a codependency, it's also it's a behavior that you are involved in, and you have to, you know, now that we can catch up with our friends, our family, and it's healthy to do that now and not always be with each other. It's nice to miss someone. It's nice to yearn for someone. It's nice to feel like you're going on a date or something like that. My partner and I don't live together. But that's now been something that has shed some light on things in a nice way. You know, and we've had to go, oh, we're not catching up with each other this weekend. Let's catch up with friends.
Right.
And that's not been the norm for 2 years.
Right. So then mixing again, like that social interaction again
Yes.
out in the world, how did that play out? Because, you know, you're with someone, you know, because we did have a really long extended lockdown here on and off,
Did.
like 6 real long ones.
Yeah, it was.
The
It
longest
was.
in
It
the whole
was.
world.
It was really. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, did it how was it going, you know, sort of
It
doing
was
that?
amazing, but I think what we had to get used to was going out without each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
That's where
you have to do that. You can't always be together and go together to social functions or see certain friends together all the time. You can't. Well, you can. I mean, of course you can, but I think it's healthy to have your own relationships without that codependency of having that like security blanket with you all the time. That I think that's what happened to me personally. I had to get used to that.
Right. And did you develop new, like, activities together during that time, or were you doing the same sort of thing? Was like?
We were sort of yes and no. Like, I mean, there wasn't a lot we could do, but we decided to think outside the box. And during the lockdowns, we made an effort to get really dressed up, you know, dress, hair, makeup, high heels. And he would set the dinner table with the white tablecloth and the flowers like a restaurant, and we'd cook together. And so we made a restaurant every Friday night because we couldn't go out for dinner.
That's
So
fantastic.
we made we would have to have dinner at home, and Friday night's our date night. So and even a day spa, you know, we'd fill the bath up with bubbles and candles, and, you know, so we tried to do things that we would normally do, like go to a winery or go to a day spa or go to a beautiful restaurant.
Right.
And dress up nicely. You know, he would put a beautiful shirt, you know, it was gorgeous. And so we would do things like that, and not just, you know, but then admittedly,
Yeah.
we did get a little bit slack towards 6.0. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we did get a bit slack. But then once the lockdowns were over and we could actually do those things, it sort of,
Mm.
we had to put the spin and the passion back into those exciting things. So and that's been really nice. That's been
Oh,
really nice.
excellent. Excellent. So
Actually getting dressed up and going out for dinner at
yeah, rather
restaurants
than
that we
staying
love.
home. But I think that's magnificent, Mazel, like to actually really plan an evening, an event like that,
Mm,
where I think a lot of couples don't, you know, they get into that complacent, you know, we're at home, they're in their tracky pants, they're just relaxed.
yeah.
And it's so important to keep a relationship alive, really.
It really is. And look, I always say this, a relationship is like a business. If you don't invest in it, it's not going to take off. It's going to fail. And it really does take work. It really, it tests you, you know, the ones, you know, your greatest teachers are the ones that test you the most. And it's constant. It's not something that you can just, you know, we have to go to work every day. That's a regular, you know, you know, it's something in our lives that we are used to, you
Correct.
know. So, but self-care, I think we forget about. We forget about looking after ourselves. You know, we forget about looking after our relationships. We forget about, you know, so many things. And but we invest so much time into our work. We invest so much time into things like that. Whereas I feel like there really does need to be a real balance of everything.
Mm.
Mm.
And so tell me, you seem to have like had it quite, even though it was quite stressful, you seem to be quite organized and, you know,
I
with your
try
family.
to be
But you have
organized.
2 children. How did you handle, because that's the other thing too that we need to tell the audience too. You've got one a teenager or 2 teenagers, I can't remember.
Yeah, almost, yeah, 13 and 14. And look,
Right.
they're amazing. So they, you know, I'm lucky. I was also homeschooling, which was quite a challenge for one of my children. And but then the other, you know, one of my other children has now, you know, we've got some social anxiety issues that we're dealing with, which
Mm,
is quite prevalent in the community now. And in this time of, you know, 14, we've got
yeah.
hormones flying all over the place. We've got, you know, being locked in lockdown almost for 2 years, has really affected a lot of teenagers, much more than people realise. So
Yeah.
there's a, you know, everyone's got a story, and I think it's really nice to listen. I think it's really just nice to listen to each other, you know, and just also feeling like you're also being heard as well,
Mm. Yes, absolutely.
because it
So
helps.
what would you say that has been your, like, because obviously you're in between doing everything and being a super mum, taking care of yourself. What have been your little, I guess.
There was a period late last year where I stopped looking after myself for a little while, and I really did. Like, you know, I was so stressed with, you know, the homeschooling, the kids, running the house, you know, because I'm also on my own with the children. And so running a business, in these times, it's been very challenging. I work in aged care as well, so it's been extremely challenging. And I wasn't putting I go to work every day, even though I work from home, and you know, I do my hair, I do my makeup, I get dressed, and I go to work every day, even though I work from home. And I do that to put me in that workspace head. And I love that, even though, you know, I like going to work. So I go to work in the office upstairs instead of going in my car and driving. So,
Yeah.
but I think there was a time where I wasn't doing that, and I wasn't putting my makeup on, and I wasn't making an effort, because I was actually really tired and worn out. I was really at the end of my tether, and that was right at the end of the 6.0 lockdown. And my partner actually, and my sister pulled me up and said, "You're not looking after yourself anymore," you know. And I said, "Yeah, I know that." And I think I did actually go through some depression, because it's hard on people. Everyone was going through so much, and you don't want to pour out your, you know, you don't want to offload on people, and, you know, life
Sure.
was hard. So yeah, I did feel drop the ball for myself. So then, and my partner said to me, "Where's the passion? There's no spark. What's going on? You know, we used to do all these amazing things." And I said, "Okay, you're right, and I'm sorry." So then within a day I turned it around and I said, "All right, go get your hair done, and, you know, put your face on and get your stilettos and your little dress." And yeah, and just really took a real positive light on things. And it helps, but that takes conscious effort and work to do that. You can't
Yeah.
just push everything aside and, you know, you have to do that. You have to take time for yourself. It's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do have a message here. From because we get our little messages. Hi, Stefania. I hope you're well. Meeting people live has become difficult, as it has always been carnival, unfortunately. And that's from Donato. Ciao, Donato. Nice. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, I think that's pretty. He's got spot on there, isn't it? Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's a little carnival, because a lot of people have not really been
definitely.
able to, I mean, really can stay connected, whether they live too far with their partners. I think that's also put a lot of strain, a lot of stress on everybody. But I think
Absolutely.
you really pointed something out, which is, I always believe in that, and I say to many people, and I even say it to myself, you know, when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel
Absolutely.
good, you look good. So it works both ways. If you're
It does.
feeling good, you'll look good, because you'll see it through the lenses of,
You
you know,
glow.
right. And if
Yeah.
you do something about it, well, then you're just going to get into that state and feel really great, you know. So
And, you know, you just exude just beautiful energy, you know, and it really is, it's very obvious. It's very obvious, you know.
yeah,
Yeah. But when you don't feel your best, you know, it also is a bit obvious too sometimes, you know. So it's nice to make yourself feel good, and it just takes a bit of effort, that's all.
yeah. Just a comment here, just showing that again. What uh, this one here says. Since we always go out disguised, I think he means, like, you know,
It's a
with our
mask.
mask, exactly,
Absolutely.
and we're feeling a little
It's
not.
funny, if I can make a comment on that. So when I meet people for the first time, and if they have a mask on, I ask them if they wouldn't mind just pulling it down so I can actually see what they look like under the mask, because I like to see what someone looks like who I'm speaking to.
Sure. And how they respond.
Most people are like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, okay," and they pull it down. I'm like, "Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you. Nice to
yeah,
meet you."
exactly. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
that's so, because we're so, we're humans. We like to connect. We like to connect
absolutely.
visually, kinesthetically, you know, listening. We it's all encapsulated in one. We desire that, don't we? So
Oh, we so do. And, you know, it's so nice to connect. And, you know, I just think, you know, now that we can connect a bit more, it's nice to also connect it physically. I think that physical connection, like if we go out and if you're at a restaurant or you see someone or you're in the street, like I come from, you know, a family where, you know, I'm a very affectionate person, and I kiss everyone hello and goodbye and hugs and that sort of thing. But that's kind of a bit like, okay, hi, it's like, okay, what do I do? Do I just,
Yeah.
you that
Just don't know what to
physical,
do.
yeah, it's like, oh, sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to, sort of lean in to say hi or whatever. People are like, whoa, it still happens now in the supermarket. People are like, sort of walk around you. So that physical aspect of touch with us humans has very much been taken away from us. And
Yeah.
I think it's really sad.
Yeah. We just have another message here from Donato. Now, Donato is in Italy. He does speak a little English, but he's written here in Italian. So, excuse my Italian, I'll give you a translation. A parte l'inglese, spero di aver scritto correttamente. So, even though my English is not perfect, I hope I've written it correctly. Che se uscivamo sempre con la mascherina, la conoscenza anche occasionale diventa un po' difficile, anche per il distanziamento. Okay, because he says, because we always were, leaving our homes with our masks on, and it's difficult, like you said, to recognize who's in front of you. And you may be in the supermarket and your friends right next to you, and you don't recognize them because you've got your mask on. Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
oh, wow. Because really, when you do take the nose and the lips, it's like you've got a whole total different vision of that person.
And that's why, I say to people, can I just see what you look like so I can actually envision what people look like when I'm speaking?
Yeah, definitely. And you're obviously definitely a visual.
I'm definitely visual. Yeah, definitely visual.
Yeah. So, wow, that's really, really great. What about, did you take advantage during this time of doing things that because we were in lockdown, the relaxation, where I know a lot of people sort of relaxed more in the beginning. I don't know whether that really continued.
I actually found lockdown to be much busier than non-lockdown. And because I'm a mum, I found that a lot of my family members who were parents felt, I'm just saying for me personally, found that the case because we were cooking, we were always eating from home. There was always so much, and we were always stuck at home. There was so much more washing and cleaning to do all the time. So to be blunt, the answer is no. The only time I really did chill out a little bit was on the weekend, but I was still chained to the kitchen, I found. I was still chained to the kitchen because I like things to be clean. So if I cook, I clean. If I cook, and it was constantly. And we like to eat well. But I will say, I did like to do a lot of, I tried to do some self-development things and reading my self-development books and my, trying to do things to help better my mind and my head and my life, I guess.
Right.
That's
Really good. That's good. And what about exercise? I know a lot of people have said, oh my God, I've put on so much weight during this period. Like, I know people all running out.
A lot of people did.
Treadmills and elliptical machines. I know that the stores here were all like sold out because.
Yeah. So I put on 10 kilos during last year, during the last lockdown, because I got a really nice taste of red wine, which I've never had before. And I didn't realize that it also makes you eat more, and because we were at home. So I didn't realize, so silly that, and because my body's not really used to it, that if you have some wine and you eat more, like obviously you're going to put on weight. So it just kind of quickly, escalated, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So yeah, we did get a treadmill, and I love it, and I kind of use it more now than before.
You've obviously lost that because you look great.
I've lost it all. So I just said, okay, well, and I know a lot of people that were in the same boat too. So and a lot of people are still trying to lose their COVID kilos, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
a
was
lot
just
of
going to
people I
say,
know.
and was that challenging for you, Marzel? Like, I know a lot of people have really struggled with changing that habit,
And
getting
they
back
still
into some
are.
kind of exercise or
Yeah, for
going.
me, it's not, I guess, because I just said, okay, that behavior is not for me. So I just decided not to change that. You're in charge of your life. You're in charge of what you put in the shopping trolley,
Mm,
and so I just really took that on board, and I just had to be really strong. And I really enjoy eating well, and I really enjoy having energy. I found that
mm,
my energy levels were down. I was feeling depressed. I wasn't looking after myself. And, I don't think that self-medicating, well, it wasn't really self-medicating, but it was just kind of become a little bit of a habit because everyone was just doing the same thing. So, but those habits I changed it because I wanted to. So
right.
I didn't find it hard. No,
Good. Exactly. It's like anything is if you want it bad enough,
you
it
just
doesn't
do it. And your
hard.
genes never lie. And when you can't get those genes off over those hips, it's like, okay, you either decide to go and buy new jeans or you do something about it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Mm.
Absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
I know. With myself, I did put on a few kilos myself, and
Yeah.
I was like, I was still walking, and of course, I love the gym. I love pushing some weights and
Yeah,
not
you
having
do.
the gym at home. I had to find other ways, but yeah, getting back in the gym obviously was just
Mm.
getting back into your playground for me.
Yes, exactly.
It's
And that I think was so hard for a lot of people. So, I did online Pilates,
okay.
and I've got the treadmill, and I just love it. And I just put my phone on the bookshelf, and I just do my online Pilates at home. And you know what? It's actually serves me much better than going and booking a session and going to a class.
Yeah.
It's much more time saving, and it works brilliantly. So that's a benefit of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. And I just have one more question now. Like, now that we are able to go out and have our alone time, how do you find being alone? Because I
I love
know
it.
you love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I didn't get a lot of alone time. If I wasn't with my kids, I was with my partner.
Mm,
And um it was just a very busy time because you go to the shops, you've got to do the washing, you've got to do the cooking, and it's always cleaning up to do. And so I was giving myself to everyone else except for me. So
mm,
yes, I really do enjoy my alone time more so
yeah.
now. Yeah, because we've learnt to understand that it's important to have time with ourselves. And that's where we had to break that codependency of that real pandemic relationship that I have with my partner,
Mm,
because it wasn't healthy, it wasn't sparking anything. And so it's nice to have that alone time. You need it. I enjoy my own company. So
mm.
it was a big plus for me, I guess you could say.
Yeah, great. So, what would you tell our audience out there that are listening to this? I mean, because you seem to have really been able to handle it and have it under control, even though you've been stressed here and there. But it seems
Mm.
like you've got it now, post pandemic. You're settling back in. There's been some changes, but what would you say to people that are listening and they're
You know what?
finding it difficult to adjust?
I think go easy on yourself. I
Mhm,
think we're so hard on ourselves. We live with guilt. We live with not being good enough, or all these expectations that we have of ourselves, of other people. We get disappointed. We're tired. We've got so much going on up here. Okay,
mm,
so I think the best way that I think people just need to take one day at a time.
mm.
Everyone, I think, is a little bit over emotional. That's completely understandable because we've
Mhm.
all been put through the washing machine, and we're kind of on the line drying out at the moment. So I think everyone's just trying to work it all out. But
Very.
I think we just really need to be grateful. If the message that I really want to get across today is, don't be so hard on yourself and be grateful for all the good things, you know. And if you're not feeling good, watch a movie that's going to make you laugh. Put some music on that's going to make you feel good. Just be aware and really conscious of the fact that you can change your feelings within, you know, a second. Just find the strength in yourself to love yourself. Because if you can't love anyone else or give anything to anyone else unless you're kind and loving to yourself and you're grateful, because we should be grateful for what we have here, which is far more than most people on this planet. Just be kind to yourself and just be kind to others.
Yeah, definitely. Because you don't know what others are going through. Because a lot of times we have expectations as well on other people.
Exactly.
We don't know what
we
they're
make
going
stories.
through.
We make stories in our head, and I think it's just nice to just be open and be calm and just understanding, you know. And so if we can be kind to ourselves and kind to others and just, you know, just flow a little bit more, I think the world will be everything's a bit easier.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. Well, thank you, Marzel. I just want to say thank you
for having me, beautiful Stefania.
your busy schedule. So it's worked out fine in your lunch break.
No worries.
So thank you to everybody listening. If you have any comments, any questions, reach out, please. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about in the following, you know, sessions that we have here on the talk show at Let's Talk Relationship. If you want to come on the show, I'd be happy to have some conversation with you as well. And yeah, thank you once again, and have a great day, and sending you all lots of love and passion. Thank you, Marzel. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.